It's Tuesday, June 2nd, 2026. You're listening to the DX Today AI Daily Brief. Today, Anthropic quietly files to go public as the AI funding race reaches Wall Street. Microsoft opens Build with a fleet of homegrown models. And SoftBank dethrones Toyota as Japan's most valuable company. Let's get into it.
Anthropic confidentially filed for a U.S. initial public offering on Monday, setting the stage for what could become one of the largest tech listings in history. The filing with the Securities and Exchange Commission comes just days after the company raised $65 billion at a post-money valuation near $965 billion, vaulting it past OpenAI as the world's most valuable private AI company. Anthropic said the move simply gives it the option to go public once the CEC completes its review. Asked about the timing, OpenAI chief Sam Altman said he isn't focused on an IPO and will go public when it makes sense. Anthropic's revenue run rate has reportedly ballooned toward $47 billion.
From Wall Street to San Francisco.
Microsoft Build 2026 opened today in San Francisco, with Chief Executive Satya Nadella headlining a developer conference centered on autonomous agents. The marquee reveal: a family of models built entirely in-house, including a speech transcription system, a voice generation engine, and an upgraded image creator, all available immediately through Microsoft Foundry. Microsoft also confirmed a new coding model aimed at strengthening GitHub Copilot, a Windows agent framework for building agents directly into the operating system, and an expanded Azure AI Foundry that formally adds Anthropic's Claude alongside OpenAI. The through line is unmistakable. Microsoft wants to reduce its dependence on any single model partner and own more of the AI stack itself. Keynotes run through tomorrow and are streaming free.
Now to Tokyo, where the markets are talking.
SoftBank overtook Toyota to become Japan's most valuable listed company, dethroning the automaker for the first time in more than 2 decades. Shares of Masayoshi Son's technology group jumped about 14%, lifting its market value to roughly $296 billion. The rally is pure AI enthusiasm. SoftBank has now committed around $65 billion cumulatively to OpenAI, and just unveiled plans to invest up to $87.5 billion building AI data centers in France. The milestone, last achieved only briefly during the dot-com bubble in the year 2000, captures how thoroughly artificial intelligence has rewritten market leadership. The broader Nikkei also surged, breaking 67,000 for the first time.
Meanwhile, developers are seeing red.
GitHub Copilot switched to token-based billing today, and developers are furious. Replacing the old flat subscription, the new model charges for the tokens consumed during each interaction, and for heavy users, the bills are eye-watering. One developer estimated their monthly cost would jump from $29 to roughly $750. Another projected a leap from $50 to $3,000. Power users running agentic sessions are reporting increases of 10 to 50 times. The announcement drew hundreds of angry comments and nearly 900 downvotes. GitHub counters that routine code completions remain unlimited and free, and that each paid plan includes a monthly credit allowance. Still, it's the first real crack in the unlimited AI for a flat-fee model that has defined the industry.
Turning to policy and Beijing.
China is tightening its grip on cross-border technology deals. The State Council published sweeping new rules on Monday that widen regulators' power to scrutinize overseas transactions involving Chinese investors, technology, data, and national security. Taking effect. July 1st, the rules require authorization to export restricted Chinese goods, technologies, or related data, and they bar indirect transfers through the cross-border movement of technical staff and training. The move follows Beijing's order to unwind Meta's acquisition of AI startup Manus, and it specifically targets so-called Singapore washing, where companies shift employees and operations abroad ahead of a deal. The upshot: Chinese regulators now have a far broader toolkit for blocking AI and technology transactions, even when the company involved is incorporated outside China.
Next, $1 billion defense deal.
Motorola Solutions announced a definitive agreement to acquire Defense Solutions, an Israeli counter-drone specialist, for $1.5 billion. Defense flagship technology, Enforce Air, uses radio waves to take control of a rogue drone in mid-flight and land it safely, rather than jamming or shooting it down. The company says its systems are deployed across more than 30 countries, with revenue growing over 50% annually and expected to reach $185 million this year. The timing is pointed. A new Safer Skies Act now lets trained state and local law enforcement mitigate drone threats, not just detect them. Motorola is betting that counter-drone defense becomes core public safety infrastructure. The deal is expected to close in the fourth quarter.
On the road now in Europe.
Uber is heading back into autonomous driving, this time in Europe. The company unveiled a robo-taxi program in Munich, partnering with the Israeli AI startup AutoBrains and building on NVIDIA's Drive Hyperion platform. Rather than relying on a single end-to-end model, AutoBrains decomposes driving into specialized agents, each focused on a specific context or decision that reason across possible actions in real time. Munich was chosen for its mix of dense city streets, high-speed roads, and a demanding regulatory environment. Pending approval, it will be the program's first deployment city, with Uber describing an automaker-agnostic model designed to scale across vehicle platforms and urban markets. For Uber, which sold its in-house self-driving unit years ago, it's another route back into autonomy through partnerships.
And the chip war heats up.
The U.S. Commerce Department moved to close a loophole that may have let America's most advanced AI chips reach Chinese firms operating abroad. New guidance targets exports of processors like NVIDIA's Rubin and Blackwell, and rival flagship accelerators to overseas subsidiaries of Chinese companies based in places such as Malaysia. The opening dates back to last year, when Commerce said it wouldn't enforce the earlier AI diffusion rule, effectively allowing those subsidiaries to buy top-tier chips without a license. Officials now suggest the best American chips may have been flowing to Chinese-linked entities for nearly a year. Notably, the guidance doesn't force existing data centers to stop using the chips, but it signals a tougher phase in the global AI chip war.
From cars to the wider world of robots.
British autonomous driving company Wave is expanding its ambitions well beyond cars. It launched Wave Labs, a dedicated research unit aimed at the next frontier of embodied AI, led by Chief Scientist Jamie Shotton, a former Microsoft executive. The team is building models that understand motion, space, causal relationships, and risk, and that learn from the outcomes of their own actions in the real world. Research spans world models, reinforcement learning, spatial intelligence, simulation, and large-scale policy learning. The goal is general-purpose systems useful across factories, logistics, and humanoid robotics, not just driving. It's a striking example of a broader shift. Self-driving startups, having learned to navigate the messy physical world, are now repositioning themselves as general physical AI companies.
Over to the laptop wars.
Dell is taking direct aim at Apple's MacBook with a new XPS 13, unveiled at Computex and priced from $699 or $599 for students. Dell calls it the thinnest and lightest XPS it has ever made, weighing just over 2 pounds, with an aluminum body, a sharp touch display, and up to 17 hours of battery life. The entry configuration runs Intel's new Wildcat Lake chip, with more powerful Panther Lake models arriving later this summer. The aggressive price matters because AI features are quickly becoming standard rather than premium. Dell is signaling that the battle over AI-capable laptops is moving rapidly toward mainstream price points, pressuring Apple and the rest of the field.
Now to a major move on youth safety.
Malaysia began enforcing one of the world's strictest online safety laws today, barring children under 16 from holding social media accounts. Platforms with at least 8 million users in the country, including Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube must now block under 16 signups and verify the ages of existing users with government identification. Age checks for current accounts will roll out over the next 6 months, and minors will get a month to download or transfer their data before restrictions apply. The rules fall under Malaysia's Online Safety Act, with non-compliant platforms facing penalties of up to 10 million ringgit. It places Malaysia among a growing wave of governments tightening protections for minors, and it adds yet another layer of compliance for global platforms.
And finally, to Brussels.
The European Commission published its new Cloud Sovereignty Framework, part of a broader push to reduce Europe's dependence on American technology providers. The framework introduces sovereignty scores, ranking cloud services from basic data sovereignty up to full technological autonomy, and it's already steering how the bloc procures cloud for its own institutions. The timing is notable. More than 24 European cloud chief executives have sent an open letter to the Commission warning against what they call sovereignty washing, urging tougher rules so that American hyperscalers can't simply rebrand existing services as sovereign. For Europe, digital sovereignty is fast becoming both an industrial strategy and a real market opportunity for homegrown providers.
That's your briefing for Tuesday, June 2nd, 2026. For DX Today, stay curious.